know what Barbershop P do, pick a side. And LG, he do the same too, pick a side. In Stack City, he gon' need you, pick a side. Who are we? Pick a side. Who are you? Pick a side. You know what Barbershop P do, pick a side. And LG, he do the same too, pick a side. In Stack City, he gon' need you, pick a side. Who are we? Pick a side. Who are you? Pick a side.
Hoodlamb, Hoodlamb Apparel.
Pick a side. It's mandatory.
It's mandatory. I was waiting on it.
Hey, get off my Zoom.
How's your Zoom? I got the end button.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Stack City, and this is Pick a Side. As usual, I got my boy Barbershop P with me, and I got my boy LG with me. And we just want to start out this episode by taking time out to pause for a moment of silence for all those who might have lost a loved one or a friend or a family member to COVID-19. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so this is the season finale, fellas.
Yeah.
Season finale of season number 1 for Pick a Side, episode number 40. And we diverse. We talk about everything. But the one subject that we haven't addressed since Pick a Side got started is COVID-19. Arguably the biggest topic of the past year and a half to 2 years. And Pick a Side actually got its start in April of 2020 when everything was locked down due to the pandemic. So had it not been for the pandemic, I don't know if we ever would have had Pick a Side. But I'll trade Pick a Side in a minute to bring back all those lives lost. So with that being said, we released our first episode in April of 2021. This is episode number 40 of season number 1. And I want to ask this question on this last episode of you guys, just to hear your thoughts and your opinions. Now for the audience, they don't know what the question is ahead of time. So like we do on a regular basis, we're just going to be answering off the top. And today's question is, there's no doubt about it. COVID-19 has changed the world as we know it. It's changed the sports world. It's changed the living world. It's changed the workforce. It's changed everyday life in a big way from what it was almost 2 years ago. So my question is, will the world ever be the same? Will it ever go back to normal, the type of normal that we knew before early 2020, when it really hit the United States hard? Will the world, the sports world, the living world, the workforce, the world as we know it, ever go back to how it used to be, exactly how it used to be before COVID-19 came on the scene? Who want to go first?
I mean, I guess I'll go first. That's a great question, bro. I don't think so. COVID was one of those things where it was like experiencing it was like almost unreal. It's like people that make it through like real bad destruction and demolition that they saw and death that they experienced, or even something as traumatic as the 9/11 situation. Like COVID came and it shook up a lot of stuff, bro. Like it messed up the economy. People stopped working. Like it was crazy. And people still think it's a joke, which is a crazy thing. But I tell people all the time, like I mean, I understand why people are hesitant about believing the government or whatever the case is, but it's like, bro, you got to follow the money. When you have sports like baseball and football and basketball and all these things that make billions of dollars, and of course our stock market, which our money system is completely dependent upon, when those type things stop, bro, it's serious. Like, that's real. And I honestly say no as well, because I mean, even if you think back to when we was kids, what we thought is normal is not the same. Like, the world is so much different now than from when I was a kid, when y'all was kids, because y'all are older than me. Like, we've seen change and stuff. Like, we didn't even hear cussing on TV. You know what I'm saying? And with COVID, man, like, it had people scared to cough in public. It had people scared to interact with each other. Like, it's a new strand out. People still scared to get the vaccine, which, I mean, I don't get that neither, but that's a whole nother topic. But I really don't see the world being the same, man, because it's already like you gotta be like vaccinated for certain stuff, and you have to get your temperature checked and stuff like that before you even be able to go on certain establishments and flights, and like, it's just, everything is different now, man. It's like it's really like some stuff that you would have seen on TV or like something you see in a movie, and it's like, man, I can't believe we really experiencing this. Like, when has America just gave, like, the government just gave out free money and made everybody stop working and had people in the house? Like, that's some stuff we never thought we would ever experience, bro. Like, it was insane. Like, and that had a big effect on a lot of people, man. And people are still suffering and trying to get themselves together from COVID, and we're still technically in COVID, even though it may feel like we're out of it, we're still in COVID. Like, see, when a new variant and all that that's out right now, the Delta variant that's getting people sick, and another wave's hitting again, and hopefully we don't shut down again, to be real with you. So I don't know, bro. I really don't feel like the world will ever be the same again, because I just feel like those are one of those situations, like, if you got kids or whatever, like, they're going to be learning about this. Like, we learned about the Holocaust and stuff like that. Like, they're going to be getting taught about COVID, most likely. Like, this was crazy. So in a couple of years from now, when they're probably like, literally, this is going to be part of American history. And it really changed up the economy, everything. Like, it's still chain shortages, food drops still going on like crazy. There's still people out of work. Like, it's a lot going on right now. It's crazy. It really is.
What about you, LG?
Yeah, I don't think things will be the same. But I think we'll just live. If you live long enough, every so often things are going to change up anyway. The world is always progressing. I just think that this time, COVID was the boost of this next level of progression, because now you're starting to see more virtual schools with the K through 12 public schools. More people, church membership has grown because they got more online members now. You can watch, you can be a part of church online. I was kidding with City a while ago, like in the heart of COVID, or not kidding, but just like talking. And we was just like, yo, when our kids are older, will there even be school buildings, or like will everything be like virtual? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
wow, that's a great question.
I mean, because I think one thing that COVID did do, I think, it either made people better or worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think for the individuals who are stubborn or traditional, they might not have progressed in ways that this pandemic might have asked for them to. And so therefore they might be stuck in a situation that's the same or maybe even worse. But then I've seen people who hated technology, didn't have any devices, but because of COVID, they had to learn. Like, older people are learning how to get through life at this stage of life. Yeah. You see pastors figuring things out, teachers figuring things out, parents figuring things out, kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and a lot of like it makes you. P said this earlier on a previous show. It definitely makes you think about family, because just like that, family could be gone. Just like that, a loved one could be gone. And it made you realize that we take a lot of things for granted. I remember when I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do was to go school shopping and pick out a Batman book bag and a Michael Jordan notebook or something, you know. But when COVID hit, kids couldn't even have a prom. Teams were making the state championship and couldn't even compete in it. You know, college students are not able to do their proper tour before being enrolled into a university. Kindergartners didn't even get to start kindergarten in the building. Like, so, man, like, so I don't see it ever being the same, because I still feel like COVID is a mystery. Like, I still feel like we don't have a answer for it. I still feel like we're confused about where it's at, what it's doing, and where it's going. And because of that alone, and I'm no professional expert, this is my personal opinion based on what I hear. And so because of that alone, and like P was saying, with people having their own beliefs and whether they should have the vaccine or not, or people believing that the COVID is real or not, I think all that by itself is just all that ball of confusion alone is why the world will never be back the same again. So,
I mean, to be real, we're still going through changes.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's even affecting fantasy, man. We love fantasy. Like, you don't know what quarterback gonna play, who gonna be out,
yeah,
or like
it's
crazy,
so let me ask you this. That I kind of want to go in a couple of different directions with this question. The next direction I wanted to go in was sports. How will this virus affect sports from here on out? Like, do you think COVID is around to the point where every year we're going to have athletes potentially missing a few games, having to quarantine? Or do you think eventually we'll get a hold of it to the point where, you know, like, this is only something that's going to happen for a little while longer? Not that we're experts or scientists or doctors, but, you know, do you think like it'll affect the sports world?
I think it could affect sports individual. Yeah, it could affect the sports world, because people feel like that getting that vaccine is a personal decision. So if the leagues ever decide to mandate anything, you might see early retirements. You might see surprise careers end. Like, I mean, people have ended their careers for less based on like personal beliefs and issues and stuff. So, like, yeah, it could definitely change the sports world, man. Like, you know, I'm a fan of the Big Three, the Ice Cube League or whatever.
Oh yeah, I love the Big Three.
And he usually traveled to multiple cities. He's only doing like 3 cities. Like, if we don't get control of it, you might see more of bubble experience, like in basketball or college basketball, or I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what you think, P.
I mean, I just think it's gonna always be. It's definitely gonna affect it until, like you said, we get a control over it, because we still don't know. Like, that's why they call it the invisible virus or whatever. Like, and it's still mutating. And I mean, hopefully they get this thing eradicated at some point, but it also has potential to become a new flu. And that could be definitely an issue. Like, it's a couple things that never went away, like stuff like HIV, which leads to AIDS, of course. The flu, people get flu shots every year or whatever the case is. And Corona might just be like one of those things that just we have to deal with at a certain time or whatever. Like, even if we get a hold of it. And because you have people and their beliefs, and, you know, we have free will and rights and whatever the case is, even though that works different when you're in a business, because when you're in a business, that's that person's like property. So like whatever they mandate and require you to do in that facility, like you have to abide by that, or you just won't come to the games and stuff like that. So that works a little different. But at the same time, you're still going to have people that contest. Like, you got people that look at you now crazy for having a mask on, even now. And it's like, people still don't take this stuff serious, even when somebody close to them, until somebody close to them catches it or passes away from it even. And then it's like they take it serious, but by that time it's like it's too late. And I mean, like I said, until we get a hold of it, I feel like it's always going to affect everything from here on out because you still got athletes that don't want to get it. You had athletes that even threaten to retire. And you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it's until we get a hold of it or it gets eradicated completely, which I don't see happening no time soon. I think we also gonna have to deal with it because as long as we have mass gatherings, it's always going to be an issue because stuff travels so easy. That's why daycares and stuff are like infestations for like, you know, kids getting sick because it's so easy to communicate little, you know what I'm saying, airborne stuff. And that's what Corona is. It's airborne.
Yeah.
So I think it's, you know what I'm saying?
I think from a sports perspective, it makes it more unpredictable than ever. Like you could throw away March Madness, upset, Cinderella, all of that. The fact that you don't know who's going to be on or off the field or on or off the court on a daily, weekly basis.
Yes.
Like sports would definitely be unpredictable. I think we will definitely see less repeats in sports. And I think, you know, yeah. I mean, just think about it. No, not taking away from Milwaukee Bucks, but they won it, you know, because of injuries. But even throughout the season, like where you're seated at, a lot of that, like teams were going on losing streaks because they weren't able to play at weeks at a time.
Like it was
wasn't
it Portland or somebody that
quarantine.
had like only like 6 or 7 players available at one point or something like that because of COVID.
The Miami Heat. Yeah.
Man, that was crazy, bro.
Yeah. Like,
let me ask y'all a question. Let me jump in here with a question. Go ahead. Did you want to say something, LG?
No.
Let me jump in here. P, you brought this up. Even if we do get a better hold of COVID-19, right? With people being so cautious, especially, you know, certain people, you know, different people have different levels of comfort. And some people, you know, it's affected them mentally as far as their anxiety level. And others have legitimate concerns, even beyond anxiety. Like they might have anxiety, but they also have health issues that put them more at risk. Will there always be a segment of the population from here on out? Will there always be a segment of the population that wears masks? Are masks here to stay? For at least some people.
Your boy right here.
I think so.
Hey,
Michael Jackson was ahead of his time, bro. He knew what was up.
Definitely. Yeah.
Hey.
Like my family and I, we be like the only ones, bro, like in certain stores.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, listen, that's just,
I cut hair, so I'm super cautious with that because, I mean, I'm vaccinated or whatever, but I still don't want to even take the chance of it even happening. So even when I'm like cutting and stuff, I have a mask on. If I'm going out, I still put a mask on. And it's like you go in the stores now, it's like there's hardly anybody wearing masks and stuff. And it's like, man, it make me want to put a mask on, honestly.
Yeah, and a lot of companies are mandating it now too. So,
because I know COVID's still here, like I know it's still around, and I know somebody that literally just had a family member, close family member, pass from it, and the only person that ended up, you know, the person that survived was the one that actually got vaccinated. The person that passed didn't get vaccinated, so you know it's a rough situation. That's, you know what I'm saying, but people still like, man, I'm like, bro, all right, you know, I'm not gonna force nobody or try to convince somebody to do something, but I think it's better safe than sorry.
Have you ever heard of anyone vaccinated that lost their life?
I don't know anybody personally, but I have heard stories. I've heard stories like online and stuff like that, but I don't know anybody personally.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. A lot of that stuff is true. Like if it don't come from the CDC or certain sources like that, I don't believe it. Because people be out here on these Facebook pages and stuff, and they follow pages that only fit stuff to fit their narrative and the way they think. And then so if you come think like what they call like liberal, you're gonna probably follow stuff that's mostly liberal, and they're gonna feed into that narrative. If you're conservative, you're gonna follow stuff that's mostly conservative, and it's gonna feed into that algorithm. So it's like you shouldn't get information from Facebook, bro. 9 times out of 10, it's not real. Like I'm not saying, you know, I'm not just trying to say, oh well, Fox News or somebody can't put a fake story or something out. But come on, man, like you gotta get off Facebook, like. For your news,
your city.
No, I'm saying not just Facebook, but like I've heard of situations, not social media. You know what I mean? Or news where somebody's vaccinated.
I'm just saying, like, people in general. Some people like believe a lot of stuff. Like
I got you.
Facebook. You be like, bruh.
Yo, city. To get back to the mask thing though, like I don't mind wearing the mask. I know it's kind of odd in certain environments, But I always tell my family, as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord and wear our masks.
There we go.
That's funny.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm
That's funny.
super cautious. I'm super cautious. I work in the school system. So as soon as that vaccine became available, I went and got vaccinated. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right.
And I still wear a mask everywhere I go.
I'm N95 up, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, safety first, people.
I still wear a mask everywhere I go. Hey, LG, let me get your opinion on something. I want to ask you specifically because you brought this point up earlier. You talked about virtual, all right, and you mentioned church. Will there be a certain segment of church folk, church people, Christians, and even other religions? Will there be a certain segment of population that never goes back to church because now they're comfortable doing it online?
Yes.
Elaborate on that.
Bro, listen, I'm struggling. Now, like, listen, because here's the deal. Like, I grew up in a church family. Mm-hmm. Grandma had us all going to church. Small little church, Baptist church in a small little town. All right. There's a lot of good things about church, and like everything else, there's a lot of not so good things about church. All right. But you know, I just feel like my take, I guess, like from a spiritual perspective, I don't need to be in a church building to have Jesus in me, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if I can, like, I feel like God is, well, I know that God is omnipotent. He's everywhere. So, like, I didn't even get saved in church. I got saved in a bedroom, my bedroom. Like, if the pastor's on point, if the praise and worship's on point, like, and I'm watching it online or on Zoom or whatever, then, you know, I'm not going to feel bad because I'm not in a church building when I can receive the same blessing, if not have a better experience. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. What about those who say, but LG, what about the fellowship of the saints and the gathering of the believers and the benefits that come behind, you know, those type of experiences? Like you can't replace that with virtual. This is me playing devil's advocate. Like, what about those who might say that?
Well, I've had some of my best times with Pick a Side and fellowship on Zoom. So there we go.
That's funny.
I'm just being honest. Like,
no, that's real.
That same love and feel. Like, now, don't get me wrong. I'm from that family. We love to hug. We love to see you, dap you up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, like, I do miss that. But, like, if safety, you know, if safety is in play, then, you know, I'm just gonna have to love you from the Zoom. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I don't know. I'm putting it on P.
Hey, P, let me ask you this, P. I know he put it on you, and maybe we get back to it in a second. But let me ask you this. In March 2020, when this thing really, like, started to take off in the United States, and then soon after things shut down, did you have any clue or any idea, especially you being a barber and it affecting, like, your place of work and what you do, because, you know, less people were probably coming to get their haircut because they was, you know, they was a little timid.
We couldn't work.
But here's the thing, though. Did you think it would last as long as it has? And are you surprised well, you're probably not surprised now, but did you have any idea? Did you think it would last as long as it actually is lasting?
I did, and only because, like, I mean, once it hit, bro, when you saw how bad it was and you just kept seeing the numbers and stuff, and then you start seeing the people from the jump playing devil's advocate, and then you got, you know, people not believing the CDC and not believing these doctors and giving their own perspective, like they're like doctors and study this type of stuff, and you got people believing it and backing up those beliefs, and it's just like, bro, like we're in the same place. Like, people still don't want to wear their masks, just like when it first started. People still don't want to get vaccinated. People still think it's not real. People still think it's a government hoax. So, I mean, I kind of figured that it would happen. That's honestly the reason why I didn't want to, like, do certain things business-wise, because I was like, man, I'm scared we might have another shutdown. And if we do, you know what I'm saying, it's going to affect certain things. And I was like, I don't even deal with the extra stress of having that So I was I just waited out a little bit.
That's real.
But like right now, like numbers are climbing back up again. They're threatening to shut down. They're talking about maybe doing another stimulus at some point. And I'm like, bro, these is not good signs. Like, that's not really what we want. Yeah, it sounds cool to be in the house and not working, but our economy
it don't sound cool no more.
Working.
It don't sound cool no more.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at all. Like, when you start talking about depressions and all that stuff and people not making no money in the country, not making no money and those stocks not fluctuating even, bro, that's a problem because that's how our country stays afloat. Like, we don't really have nothing backing our money as far as real value. We took all the gold and stuff that was backing our money and we took that and put it in reserves. And now our money is only backed by the stock market, which is nothing if you want to be real.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you from my personal perspective. Like I work in the school system. So I remember when it first like shut down schools and we had to go virtual. Like a lot of people were saying, oh, it's going to last about 2 weeks or so and we'll be back. And like, I remember like vividly, like, you know how when you're a kid and you have a snow day, you get excited because you don't have school. Mm-hmm. Man, like
right. But then
it got to the longer. Yeah. But here's the thing. It seemed like for certain kids, like it seemed like cool to be out at first, but eventually it got to the point where them kids was begging to get back to school, man. Like eventually enough is enough. Enough is enough. You know what I mean? Like it ain't but so much time you can spend in the house. But at the same time, like you said earlier, LG, safety first though. You know, safety first. Like, I mean, nobody wants to see
homes getting broke up during Corona, man.
Yeah, like nobody wants to be stuck in the house, but at the same time, nobody wants to every for the most part, responsible people want to do what they think is best to protect themselves and their families. And for a lot of people, that meant staying in the house. Now, for other people, that meant, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and go out and about, and what's gonna happen is gonna happen, you know. And that's how they feel. That's how they feel. We can't change the mindset of grown people, you know, just when they're already dead set in their way like that, you know. But man, like it got old like pretty quick, you know. But I'm gonna be honest with you also. When they first started talking about a vaccine, at first I was like, I'm not getting that because it seemed like it was going to be rushed. And if there were one thing I didn't want to do is be a guinea pig for something that was rushed. But, you know, then I listened to the science behind it and it started to make sense. I talked to people who I know knew more about it than me. And then I asked myself this question, and this is just me personally. I said, do I want to take my chance with the virus or with the vaccine? You know, so or do I want to put my family members, you know, because I got, you know, I'm sure everybody knows this somebody that's at risk, you know, and the same was the case for me. So it's like, do I want to put my loved ones at risk or do I want to take the chance with the vaccine? You know, so eventually, like when I weighed the pros and the cons, as everybody should be doing, weighing the pros and the cons with any big decision, I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get that vaccine, man. I am. And I did.
Yeah, you the one. Yeah, because you won. When you told me that you and like a couple of experts that I like to listen to, and I was like, because I was on the fence too at first. I was like, man, because like when has I mean, it was just so hard to believe that the government wanted to do something good for me. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? So it was a tough decision, but when my brother City broke it down to me like that, and I think my mama broke it down something like that, like if you had to pick a side, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, this is tough pick a side, but god dang it. I'm gonna choose that this is the way that's gonna keep my family safe. So I was in the same spot, City. I understand.
I mean, it's something like that. It's almost no in the middle. Like you almost have to pick a side. Like you're either going to get it or you're not going to get it, unless you have some type of like, you know, doctor's excuse as to why you shouldn't get it, even though you might want it. That's a whole different scenario. Like that might be a gray area. But other than that, like it's almost a pick a side. Like, or unless you're a child that's under 12, because as of right now, they don't have a vaccine for kids under 12.
Right.
You know, so if you're over 12 or you're an adult and you can decide for yourself, unless you have something like that your doctor is saying you shouldn't get it for, Like you almost have to pick a side. It's become a pick a side issue. It's become a pick a side issue. You know, vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And I hate that it's divided the country so much, because like during a time where it divided the country, like we also saw other things that we spoke on that divided the country also. So it's like multiple things were going on all at once. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, we had,
yeah. Go ahead, you go ahead on it.
We had race relations with Black Lives Matters and everything that surrounded that. Like the summer of 2020 was crazy because we had like Black Lives Matter and race relations and everything going on with that at the same time as we had COVID going on. Like that was one of the most memorable summers like ever, you know, and you know, like for what negative and positive, in negative ways and positive ways. Definitely a lot of negative ways, you know, but some positive ways as well. So like the summer of 2020 was one like I don't think anybody will ever forget. I think that's one definitely a summer that definitely will go down in the history books because of everything that transpired. And I said it at the beginning of this episode, and I'll say it again, like I pick a side in a minute to get all those lives back, because a lot of people lost a lot during COVID. All those lives back, all those jobs back, everything that was lost. But we're past that point now. And pick a side was birthed. It was birthed during the pandemic where we were locked down at home. Like the reason pick a side got started beyond what I just said. Like the reason we're on Zoom is because we couldn't meet in person. Like even if pick a side would have started, even if pick a side would have got its start outside of the pandemic, or if the pandemic like hadn't took place and pick a side still would have happened, we probably would have been meeting in person, because we didn't even know what Zoom was before the pandemic. You know, like we didn't even know what Zoom was. But out of the abundance of caution, we've only met in person one time to do pick a side episodes. One time. You know, just out of the abundance of caution and be safe and set the example ourselves. I mean, hopefully we'll get back to in person. You know, since the three of us are all vaccinated, hope we can get back to doing that more often. But at the same time, man, I mean, this pandemic has really, it really hit a lot of people hard, and a lot of people lost a lot, a few gained. But the only thing we can do now is pick up and move on.
Yeah. Like I do know those testimonies of and people be scared to say their testimonies, but like you know how we was talking about staying at home. A lot of people don't like to be stuck at home. A lot of people got divorced because they had to spend more time with their spouse. But like,
there was a lot of divorces, there was a lot of domestic cases, there was a lot of stuff going on in the pandemic, man. It was rough. Yeah.
But like a lot of people, I've seen like certain people, they was hesitant about it because it's kind of crazy. But we know that, you know, all things work together for those. All things work together for the good for those who love the Lord. So like there have been some people, they can sit down and tell you, I needed the pandemic to happen so I can learn about myself. So there's people that haven't been at home, didn't even really know their kids because they're so busy, or didn't know their spouse because they're so busy. And they realize, man, I've been missing out on my family. I've been missing out on, you know, this and that. And I mean, and like I say, we know how devastating it was, but I can definitely say that pick a side was a blessing. And even though we were shut down, we made something out of it. You know what I'm saying? I thank God that we was able to make something out of it and to birth pick a side.
Right. It's so crazy that you say that because, you know, not to get too religious, but I do believe. And you know how your grandparents always be like, we live in the end of time,
Hey, go ahead.
I'm not saying that what this is.
Take us to church.
And I'm not trying to say that's what this is, but it's like, bro, you can literally say we dealt with the 4 horsemen since the pandemic started, from the race relations to the hate crimes to the people, you know, food shortages, bro. You would go in the store in the pandemic and there would be no meats or something in a certain section, no bread, no water.
Crazy.
Like people don't have change. Like you can't get correct change. It's like, you know, like Walmart closing at 10 o'clock now, bro. Like they don't even, like it's certain registers only doing card because they can't accept cash. Like, you know, like people are really suffering. People are getting put out their houses. Like, I feel like I always said this pandemic was a chance for God to give us a chance to reset and really focus on him and focus on what's really important. and it's still not working because people not listening, and we're still going through the same stuff. Like them Instagram models, all of that stuff, they wasn't posting. Like you didn't see them. You couldn't get your hair done. Couldn't go get your face done. Dudes couldn't go get haircuts. That's why so many cats got braids and stuff now.
Yeah.
Like none of that stuff mattered during the pandemic, bro. Like none of that mattered.
Yeah.
And it made people really realize what's important and you know what I'm saying, and what really means something to a lot of people, because a lot of that stuff at the end of the day don't mean nothing. And you really have to look at what's important and what really matters. And I mean, if you really look at it, like hopefully people will get the picture at some point. Like people still chasing the bag, man. Like I said in the episode versus money versus God, they need to be chasing God instead of the bag. Because, bro, if the pandemic didn't make you open your eyes up, I don't know what will.
All I gotta say is Barbershop P, and the P stands for preacher. You preach, brother. Come on, man.
As for us in this platform, we will serve the Lord, huh?
Hey, that's real.
They might not be listening, but we're gonna keep preaching.
Yes, sir.
That's real. That's just how I feel, bro. Like for real, man. Like it was rough, bro. Like that pandemic was rough.
And it still is rough.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, bro, like people like Pat, like everybody got to go, but good gracious, like man, so many people that lost their lives, man, to this, and it's just like, and we know somebody that's been affected by it. We all probably know somebody that lost somebody due to COVID. Like, it's real, man. Like, hey, people better wake up.
Man, I tell you what,
people don't believe that until it happens.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes when it happens, they still like they want to blame something else, you know. But like, I mean, everybody's going to do what they do and believe what they believe. It doesn't mean that we can't stop voicing our opinions on the things that we believe in. And that's what Pick a Side is all about, man. It's about us giving our sides of the issues, whether they're trivial, like sports or silly stuff, or whether they're serious, like God versus money, or the school system, or family gatherings, or COVID-19. You know what I mean? Or Black man in America. You know, like we've done a lot of topics on both sides of the issue. But like, we're going to give you our opinion. And a lot of times our opinion is going to go against each other, especially when we're talking sports and stuff like that. So that's part of the reason why we talk about sports as well. Like, if you notice, if you've been a fan of Pick a Side, I've been watching, like, we do about half sports and half serious topics. Like, because some people need those serious topics, but some people need to get away, right? So they need to hear us like laughing and joking and being funny and being silly and talking sports and talking music and talking sneakers and talking dress and talking attire. Like, they need to hear that subject matter that might not seem like it means a lot, but it's taking them away from the seriousness of the world that they live in, so they can get away for a little bit, you know, while other people, like, they only tune into our serious stuff. So we feeding both sides, man. We feeding both sides. To God be the glory in everything that we do. But yeah, it's no way we could end this season 1, episode number 40, without discussing arguably one of the biggest topics of the past year and a half. Like, we talked about, we started the season with the other topic that could be arguably the biggest topic of the past year and a half. And that was like Black Lives Matter, Black men in America, being Black in America. We started the season off with that. 2 episodes on the same day. And now here we are at the conclusion of our first season, the bookends. And we're ending it with the other biggest topic. You know, in my opinion. Full circle. Any last words before we wrap up this episode, fellas? Before we wrap up season 1 and go on a brief hiatus, a brief break, and then come back around for an explosive season 2. Any last words on season 1?
Yes, sir.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah.
Yes,
any
sir.
last words? Any last words about season 1 though?
Yes, season 1. Just want to thank you, brothers. Hey, we did something special season 1. Shout out to Natman, Battle, Ron Stop, Hoodlum. Make sure you get your Hoodlamb Apparel.
The number one sponsor.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, man. Derek, everybody that supported us, man, that helped us
Antwan,
get through this. Hey, my brother, Knowledge, yes, sir. Everybody that's helped us get through this 40.
My boy Preston Watts Worldwide Marketing.
Yep. If we forgot you, and you've helped us out, charge our head and not our heart. Shout out to Miss Yolanda Taylor, you know, our attorney, one of an attorney that we've worked with, you know, and she'll shout out to her and her business, her law firm.
Oh yeah, and holler at your boy, holler at our man for the newspaper article though. Tim
Ramsey.
Yes,
Tim
sir.
Ramsey, yeah. Yeah, man, it's a lot of people.
Article, man. Hey, bro, part of season 1. Hey, man, this been exciting, bro. Like thinking, like it's crazy. People really don't know, bro. Like they know, but they don't really know. Like we done been through a lot with Pick a Side, bro. People done had their own transgressions, their own up and downs. I was about to be not a part of the show at one point because of certain things. Like, but everything happened for a reason, man. And I mean, you know, like Pick a Side wouldn't be Pick a Side without Barbershop P, Stack City, LG. You know what I'm saying? Hoodlum. You know, Antwan. Everybody, bro. Like it's been a dope experience from going from The Last Dance, recording, getting comfortable on camera, to dropping episodes that people don't even know about, to, you know, doing the stuff we're doing now. Man, it's been a journey, and it's only been a year. Like,
hey, listen, man,
you talk. We come back. Hey,
shout out to our families too, wives and kids and everybody.
Real.
Yeah. Season 2 gonna be real. You talk about you almost not being a part of the show. Like, people don't know, we recorded like 40 episodes, and then I got sick for like 5 weeks. Not COVID. It was something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was serious. And I was out the game for like 5 weeks, man. Like we got a 5-week late head start on when we had intended to drop because of that, man. So I just thank God for bringing me up out of that. I thank God for health, for life, for health, for strength, for my brothers and everything, bro. Like shout out to the wife and the kids, man. People have no idea how much we've gone through over this past like year in April, May, June, July, a year and 4 months, man. It's been a year and 4 months. We didn't drop our pilots in November of 2020. We started April 2020, dropped the pilot November of 2020, didn't drop the first official episode till April 20th of 2021. You know what I mean? And here we are, episode number 40. And season number 2, woo! Yeah,
hey,
no,
I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. It's only the beginning.
Only the beginning. Hey, look, shout out to Ron Stop again. Show him that Hoodlamb. HOODLAMB, the official sponsor. I don't care how many sponsors we get from here on out. We can get 1 million sponsors from here on out. That's the day one right there. That's the day one.
I got. Yes, sir.
That's the day one. He going wherever we go, he going with us. You know what I mean? Because I know the love is mutual. The love is mutual. You know what I mean? So, hey, listen, we striving to be as best of a media outlet that we can be, and he's doing the same with that clothing brand. You know, faith-based, Black-owned, hood approved. You know, those were his words. Those were his words. Yeah.
Go.
Certified. But anyway, hey, listen, big things coming season 2. Y'all have no idea. No idea what's going on behind the scenes. But hey, listen, pray for us though. Pray for us, because while I say that, we also have no idea what the future holds. We have no idea what the future holds and what type of obstacles we're going to have to overcome next. We already dealt with some, you know, but like P says, sometimes, like P says before in previous episodes, life can be your biggest obstacle, you know. But regardless, we're going to keep pushing. LG, what you got for us?
Hey, like I said before, thank you, everybody. Hey, subscribers, thank you. Everybody that likes something, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, please comment. Please comment every video. If you got to go back and binge all our other videos, comment on all of them. Please comment. Please subscribe. Please like. Help us move up in the algorithms on YouTube and download us on Spotify and Google Podcasts and everywhere else that you can find us. All right. Don't just be a passive listener. Be an active listener. All right. But yeah. Hey, P, one last time before we go. Pick a side. Why?
Pick a side. Y'all already know what it is. It's mandatory.
It's mandatory. Remember that. It's mandatory. It's mandatory.
Sir. Love y'all,
listen, we love y'all. Love y'all too. We love y'all out there. Pick a side fans.
Love our fans.
Yeah, we love our fans.
Appreciate y'all.
Season 2 out.
Hey, episode 40.
It's mandatory.